The second round of a truncated season for the 2020 Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship sees the field arrive at Blyton Park in Lincolnshire, fortunately in good weather, on a day when most of the UK is blighted by heavy rain. 6 different classes of rallycross cars of all ages, sizes and levels of performance are in action here at the Lincolnshire venue today, and some great racing is in prospect. Before we get underway with the action, Craig LOMAX in his Citroën C2 in the super modified class is going to take us on a lap of the Blyton Park circuit from the line to blast down the tarmac main straights here at Blyton. A good start by LOMAX in this run, then into the left-hand first corner, which tightens on the way in. Don't go through the cones onto the main tarmac circuit, mainly used for testing and track days here at this former airfield venue. Then it's up the straight onto the loose section, onto the brakes for this tight right-handed hairpin. Good passing place here on this infield loop here at the Blyton Park circuit. Then it's up into a double left-hander. Mind the cones and the straw bales through there, out onto the back of the circuit. Up and over the rise on the back straight. We'll see the quicker cars get a little bit of air through there. Then it's through the chicane, through the cones, down the far side of the circuit, through this little loop on the outside. Craig LOMAX getting a little bit crossed up there. Just about saves that one. Easy to run wide there. It's through the left-hander, just holding off another car through the penultimate corner, then up to the final right-hander of the lap towards the paddock, which you can see over on the right just behind the banking, and a final left-hander. That is a lap of Blyton Park. We begin our roundup of the action then with the Cooper Tyres production 4x4 category, a quartet of cars out there. Paul Davis in pole position with his Subaru Impreza, the blue machine. He won heat number 1 earlier on. The other 2 heats won by Bradley Sampson in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6. We're on board with Chris Baker in his Subaru at the back of the field at the moment behind Aaron Shaw, completing the 4 drivers in this category. Same 4 drivers we saw at Liddon Hill in Kent in the opening round, which was won by Bradley Sampson in the Mitsubishi, taking their final. So he leads the championship. We ride with Chris Baker battling with newcomer Aaron Shaw towards the back of the field. Chris Baker, his 2nd season in the championship. 5 laps for the A finals here at the Blyton Park circuit today. That's the main 4x4 category. The Clubman 4x4 series for the more powerful cars not visiting Blyton. It's Paul Davis who leads from Bradley Sampson, the 2 favourites here, and Aaron Shaw holding 3rd ahead of Chris Baker in the battle of the Subaru Imprezas further back. But it's a slightly earlier shaped Subaru, a former champion in this category, Paul Davis, who leads, completing the first lap just ahead of Bradley Sampson, moving up from a Peugeot 206 to the Mitsubishi for this season, trying to go around the outside there into turn 1. Doesn't quite make it through to this tightening left-hander. On board with Chris Baker, battling for 3rd place, and round the outside there goes Aaron Shaw, nearly cuts the nose off Chris Baker's Subaru. They bounce their way onto the infield. This section of track does cut up fairly quickly. It hasn't been quite so bad today, with conditions favourable here at Blyton Park for once. Chris Baker sideways through there, he's nearly lost it, he's out onto the grass. Oh dear, a mistake there from Chris, just getting a little bit too sideways. He saved it though. Try and close back up on Aaron Shaw. The 2 leaders have got away as a result of that. Chris Baker just coming over the jump there in the background, through to complete the 2nd lap this time. Davis from Sampson, the flag marshals looking on. Chris Baker at the back of the field, closing back up on Aaron Shaw. Must say a big thank you to all the volunteer marshals and other officials here at Blyton Park. We could not go racing without them. Down the flat-out blast towards turn 1. Making their way through the left-hander, which tightens on the way towards the infield section. Still Davis, the former champion from Bradley Sampson, who's had a great start to his season in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Won the opening round at Liddon Hill, the home of Rallycross down in Kent. Championship will move on to a 3rd and final round in Scotland, as sideways there Paul Davis, and he's lost the lead to Bradley Sampson. Similar to what Chris Baker did earlier on, just 2 sideways out of the hairpin there, and he's lost the lead to his championship rival Bradley Sampson. This will put Bradley in pole position for the championship title this year in the production 4x4 category supported by Cooper Tyres. I was just saying there is only one other round to go this year at Knockhill up in Scotland at the end of October, with the other round in Wales at Pembrey having been cancelled. Now Chris Baker has caught Aaron Shaw in the battle for third place, recovering after that mistake coming out of the hairpin earlier on. We're into lap 4 now of this Cooper Tyres production 4x4A final. Is the Mitsubishi going to defeat the trio of Subarus once again? Back on board with Chris Baker. Can he get ahead of Aaron Shaw through the first turn in towards the loose section? He's all over the back of the similar car ahead. Tries to draw alongside as they go up onto the loose. Can't quite get there. Down towards the hairpin this time. All over the back of Shaw. He nearly hits him. He's going off on the outside. Oh, very nearly. Flicks it rally style around the hairpin there. Good little Scandinavian flick almost there from Chris Baker. Determined to catch Aaron Shaw for third place. They're not going to catch the two leaders. They're well behind Sampson and Davis. Charging over the back of the circuit now. Chris Baker has got up into third place as a result of those little antics. There is Aaron Shaw in fourth place, but out in front into his final lap now it is Bradley Sampson. 2 races in 1 here in this production 4x4A final. Paul Davis a little bit ragged there through turn 1. Trying to close in on Brad Sampson. This is the former production class runner, hanging on ahead of the blue Subaru in the colours of the old Subaru World Rally team, made so famous by Colin McRae, Richard Burns and so on. Chris Baker now pulling away into third place ahead of Aaron Shaw. Looking safe out in front. This battle for third, but he almost came to a dead stop there at the hairpin. Thought he'd lost the engine, but keeps it going. It is going to be a win though for Bradley Sampson. He's going to make it 2 wins out of 2 for the season in A finals. Through towards the checkered flag, takes the win. Paul Davis second. So Bradley Sampson 2 out of 2. That puts him in pole position for the championship title with a round to go at Knockhill. Chris Baker, a rather lively run in his Subaru, but he is going to come home for third place, having caught and passed Aaron Shaw. Comes in to take the checkered flag. Aaron Shaw will take fourth. They pull off into the paddock. The production 4x4 category, supported by Cooper Tyres, won by Bradley Sampson. Less than a second ahead of Paul Davis. They were well clear of Chris Baker in third in the battle of the Subarus, with Aaron Shaw beating the finishers in fourth place. On to the junior category, supported by Questmead and 710 Oils. Heats won by Casper Potira, Luke Constantine and Tom Ovenden in pole position number 444, looking for 2 A finals out of 2. He won at Lyddon. We're on board with him, ready for the start of this one. We are underway over 5 laps with the Junior Rallycross A final. Drivers as young as 14 competing in this field, mostly Suzuki Swifts, a couple of Vauxhall Corsas and a Citroen Saxo in there as well. Ovenden leads them off. It's Luke Constantine, the reigning overall BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross champion, in second. Bit of push and shove there further back in the field. Casper Potira, the Polish driver, in third place in the Saxo, scored his first heat win in the category earlier today. A bit sideways there, Max Langmaid in the 619 car, attacking Potira, nearly sending him off into the infield. We're on board with Casper. He's lost out to Max Langmaid. He's been hit coming through the second hairpin there. That, I think, was by Harry Garman in the 75 car. Continue on there is Garman, chased by Amy Baines in number 40 in the Corsa. She qualified for this race by winning the B final. The other qualifier was Corey Paget in number 326. Looks like Potira has got going again at the back of the field, so we'll see him come back through. There is Amy Baines, number 40. A couple of cones have been collected there. There's our leader, Tom Ovenden. Luke Constantine, number 1. The reigning 2-time overall Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross champion. The only junior driver ever to win the title outright. He's in second place. Tom Ovenden will be in great position for the title, the man from Kent. He wins this, son of Tristan Ovenden, the super modified class racer in his Renault Clio. He won an A final at Lyddon as well, but Tristan not racing today. There is Casper Potira. Look at the state of his Saxo after that wallop at the hairpin earlier on. Constantine trying to take the lead away. Third place is Max Langmaid. Then it looks like it's Harry Garman, Amy Baines, and then we've got Owen Robbins in 9.27. Used to race with Max Langmaid in mini stocks on the short ovals. Robbins giving Amy Baines a push there through the hairpin section. She rolled that car here at Blyton last season, but a better day for her today. She won the B final. The other qualifier was Corey Paget. We can see there in the background in the black and white Suzuki Swift. Chased by the remains of Max Langmaid's Citroën Saxo, of Casper Platera's Citroën Saxo, apologies. On board with him now as they come towards the end of the third lap. Corey Paget, who was involved in a bit of a shunt in the A final at Lyden, took him out on the first corner. Hoping for better luck today. Runs a bit wide there coming into the main straight, and through goes Casper Platera to make up place. Here's the battle for 5th position. Owen Robbins still chasing Amy Baines, and Luke Constantine trying everything he can, just locking up the rear wheels there under braking for the hairpin. Tried to take Tom Ovenden for the lead. Still Max Langmaid there in 3rd ahead of Harry Garman. Then the battle for 5th. They're splitting off into pairs in this race, just like we saw in the production 4x4s. Casper Platera in his very battered Saxo still going. Coming towards the end of the 3rd lap, Platera runs wide, and somebody's come to a stop there. That was Owen Robbins, I think. He stopped right on the jump going into the back straight, so I don't know what's happened there. Problems for Owen Robbins. I think he's got going again. It was a strange moment. He just came to a dead stop and then got going. 2 leaders out front then by a clear margin. Almost the length of the front straight here at Blyton. Ovenden still from Constantine. Rare to see Luke Constantine defeated in A-finals over the last couple of years, but could be a 2nd defeat of the season for him here as Harry Garman chases Max Langmaid. Father Chris built this car for him, the former mini stocks racer. Raced since he was 10 years old on the short ovals. He's under fire here from Garman, up the inside, down into the hairpin. This could be interesting. And Garman gets through on the inside, pushes his way past. Amy Baines up behind them as well. She's having a good run. The only car that didn't make it through to the A final, incidentally, Max Watt in his Suzuki Swift. Hopefully we'll see better fortunes for him if he goes to Knock Hill. Coming round to start the final lap this time. Tom Ovenden, man from Kent, heading for victory. Harry Garman runs wide, under fire from Max Langmaid. Here comes Baines having a look on the inside. He clips the back of Max Langmaid. Get off, says Max in the 619 car. Great race here for 3rd place. The 2 leaders have got away though. Can Luke Constantine catch Tom Ovenden? It doesn't look like it. There's a few car lengths in it now between the 2 of them. Through turns 1 and 2. Well, Luke Constantine heading for a 2nd defeat of his title defence season. Young Tom Ovenden comes from very much a rallycrossing family as Amy Baines goes through past Max Langmaid at turn 1. But then has she outbraked herself there on the exits, the former autocross racer. 2 leaders through towards the back of the circuit, so wing mirror goes flying there from Max Langmaid's car as Baines is still there on the inside. Runs wide on the hairpin though. There's bits falling off those cars as they battle it out. They're battling like mini stocks racers, pushing and shoving. Max Langmaid gets back ahead through the 2nd hairpin. But we're with Tom Ovenden now. It's going to be a 2nd A final win of the season. Up towards the right-hander for the final time. He takes the checkered flag. Congratulations to Tom Ovenden. Casper Platera further back has now shed that front bumper. Look at the state of that Saxo. Going to make it to the line though. Got the battling pair of Langmaid and Baines ahead of him. I think Max Langmaid is going to hang on to take 4th place. It's Harry Garman who's taken 3rd. We'll confirm the official results in a moment. Owen Robbins, after his problem, makes it home. And I think all 8 go the distance. Yes, Corey Paget's the final finisher out of the 8 qualifiers in the junior final, sponsored by Questmead and 710 Oils. Ovenden the winner by 1.3 seconds ahead of Luke Constantine, his 2nd A final win of the season. Garman 3rd. The battle between Langmaid and Baines settled in favour of the former. Great race between them. Casper Platera recovering for 6th. Owen Robbins and Corey Paget rounding out the finishers.
Fantastic win. It looked easy from our point of view. Was it easy for you?
No, it wasn't. I knew I'd never raced it before coming this weekend, and I knew I was going to have to get on the pace quickly to be up the front. And Luke was really fast all day. Then he was right behind me in that final, but I just had to not make a mistake and just do my own thing. And yeah, it was a good final, but best I've driven all day, so it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, you did really well. It looked effortless from where we were stood. We could see he's putting a bit of pressure on, but we obviously had a lot of faith after round 1 at Lydden Hill. You obviously did really well there, won your final there. Not only that, but you were awarded the best BTRDA newcomer at Lydden Hill as well. That must be a really proud moment for you.
Yeah, well, I only just found that out today because they came around and said I was, and that's like a bonus just for coming here. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And should we have good luck and the next round goes ahead, due to restrictions of course, are you going to be attending the next round as well?
Well, now the start of the season's gone quite well, we probably will. I don't want to say it's up to my dad really, but we probably will. And yeah, we'll probably see you there, yeah.
Well, let's hope you do. Well done. And yeah, we'll see you in the next round hopefully.
Thank you.
Some excellent racing to say the least from both the production 4x4s and the juniors so far. Some of the best action we have seen at Blyton Park on visits by the championship in quite a long time here at the second round of this shortened season for the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross. Later on we will have the BMW Minis, the production category and also the super modifieds, but next up we have the Steve Gaunt Trailer Hire pre-1995 Classic Division. Unfortunately, the top qualifier, Gary Simpson, is a non-starter. His BMW had problems after the heats. So the front row starting alone, Mark Jones with his Toyota MR2. The other heat earlier on won by Vince Bristow with his BMW. He's made a good start, but it'll be Jones who leads the way into the first corner. Winner of round 1 at Lydden Hill, John Cross in that beautiful Lancia Stratos replica is up there. Also David Ewan, who had problems in the heats at Lydden, didn't get very far. The man from Cumbria in there in the Ford Fiesta Evo. And John Cross has got problems. The Stratos slows up. So it's Mark Jones that's got the lead. Vince Bristow in second. We ride on board with David Ewan looking at Mr. Sideways. Vince Bristow, you can see how he gets the name. Up there in second in his E36 BMW. On board with David Ewan, the farmer from Cumbria, in his Ford Fiesta Evo with a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo engine. Very much a mixture of various vehicles, this car that we ride with. He's up there in third. It's all the way from Cumbria to Lydden Hill, and the car broke down in its first heat, but he's made it to the A final this time. Behind him, the Peugeot 205s of Martin Peel and Dave Martin. And behind him, having collected one of the cones there, dragging underneath his Ford Sierra Cosworth, is Paul Pascoe. He won the B final. The other qualifier from the B final was David Martin in the green Hangover Rallycross team Peugeot. They complete the first lap then with Mark Jones in front, was leading the A final at Lydden when he broke down, unfortunately, as David Ewan up the inside attacks Vince Bristow for second place, forces his way through up the inside. Typical aggressive driving from David. Needs a good score here with only a 3-round championship, and he didn't get much out of the first round at Lydden. Vince Bristow back round the outside in the BMW, retakes second place or tries to, kicks the rear out in typical style. Great race between these two here. And Vince Bristow, another man who had problems and didn't make the final at Lydden. So all of these drivers have had their issues so far this season. Likewise, John Cross, reversal of fortune for him. He won at Lydden, but is out of this one, the Stratos having pulled up. It's Mark Jones, the man from South Wales, who leads the way, the reigning category champion. There's Martin Peel in the very brightly liveried Peugeot 205, clipping a cone there, chasing David Ewan. Yes, we've seen the Fiesta Evo run for a while, up there in third place. Vince Bristow trying to keep pace with Mark Jones in this Steve Gaunt Trailer Hire pre-95 Classic A final. There goes David Martin in the car previously raced by the Stutchbury family. Hopefully we'll see Ryan and Scott back out soon in their familiar green 205s. Behind them, Paul Pascoe in the Sierra Cosworth. We saw Steve Pascoe out earlier on as well, didn't make the A final. The other cars that didn't qualify, Keith Rylands in his Ford Fiesta Cosworth and Helen Crooks in her Classic Mini. Seeing her son Todd racing in the super modified as well with his familiar BMW Mini. Can't be many mother and son racing combinations in the UK. Usually father and son, of course, but Helen very quick in her Classic Mini. Didn't make the A final today, unfortunately. Mark Jones still chased by Vince Bristow for the lead here. Towards the end of the lap, Vince does a bit of rallying as well with his BMW. See the number plates on there. So it does go on the stages occasionally. He's all over the back of the MR2. David Ewing still up there in third. Then we've got Martin Peel with his Peugeot 205 GTI. Anybody's race between these three, I would think. Jones taking a tighter line there on the run into turn one. There's David Martin back in 5th place. Mark Jones dominated the category last season to become classic champion. He's raced this MR2 in the super modified division as well in the past. Under intense pressure from long-time rallyman and rallycrosser Vince Bristow. David Ewing up there in 3rd with the Ford Fiesta Evo. Been a rallycrosser for many years. He's raced bangers in the past as well at Wharton Stock Car Club in Lancashire, among others. For his best results in a while in the classic division here, chased by Martin Peel. It was a war of attrition in the first round at Linden Hill, but a much stronger A final this time. No Ray Morgan this time in the Ford Escort Mark III, which ended up with broken steering and out of the meeting at Linden as we go into the final lap. 4 of them line astern. Martin Peel still in there, a bit of smoke from his 205. Hopefully that will last the distance without breaking down. Hopefully that's not a sign of problems. David Ewing determined to get 2nd place back from Vince Bristow here. Always enjoyed a bit of a rivalry, these two. Yeah, definitely smoke from Martin Peel's 205. Hopefully he's going to last the distance. We're on board once again with David Ewing and Vince Bristow trying up the outside into the hairpin. Can he flick it round the outside to take the lead? They're absolutely side by side. David Ewing could take both of them here. Oh, I thought Vince Bristow was going into the bails there. Just about saves it. Jones has still got the lead. This is going to be close. Up towards the jump for the final time. Martin Peel trying to hang on in his smoky 205. Further back, David Martin and Paul Pascoe. It's 4 cars line astern towards the last knockings of the race. Martin Peel still struggling on. I think that's steam, not smoke. I think it might be boiling up, that car, but he's going to finish the race, whatever happens. I think Mark Jones is going to hang on ahead of Vince Bristow. Here they comes the line. Jones just takes the win ahead of Bristow and Ewing. Martin Peel can hardly see where he's going. Look how far off the course he is, but he does get home ahead of David Martin. My goodness, what a race. And Paul Pascoe will complete the finishers. John Cross, the only retirement, because of course Gary Simpson, the top qualifier with his BMW, was a non-starter. Mark Jones the winner by just over half a second. David Ewing only 1.2 seconds off in 3rd place. And Martin Peel's smoking Peugeot takes 4th. David Martin further back in 5th ahead of Paul Pascoe. John Cross a non-finisher. Gary Simpson unfortunately a non-starter.
Mark, I think to say you were under pressure by Vince there was probably a little bit of an understatement.
Didn't expect any different with Vince. Every time I look round, Vince is there. So that's the game with him. That's the race with him. Yeah, but it's all good racing. It is, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make for some excellent racing. You and Vince both know your car really, really well. And you've also got quite a lot of experience at this track as well. So I think it was always going to be very, very close. But you must have been feeling some pressure. You must be glad and relieved that you actually did take the win there.
Yeah, glad and relieved took a win. Every corner was pressure. It was no easy ride with it. But, you know, it's, as I say, done the track many times. I know how the car behaves around it. It's all great, you know, it's all good.
Makes it really interesting from a spectator point of view because you've got such different driving styles on track as well. I mean, you must be looking in every mirror you've got to see where Vince is coming from.
Oh yeah. I did. Vince attacks left, right, and straight through you sometimes. You know, whichever way you can go. You know, it's you got to drive defensive or on attack with him. You know, that's the way it goes with him.
It's brilliant, but it's good, clean racing, and it's great to see you back having an A final win. That's brilliant. Are you planning on doing the next round? Should we be able to go ahead with that this year?
Yes, entry's in for the next round, so let's hope we can get up there.
Fantastic. Let's hope we see everyone out at Knockhill on the next round. Thanks, Mark.
Excellent racing we have seen so far, and we have a new site for the championship, the BMW Mini Rallycross division. Heats won by Rob Methold, by Polish driver Tomasz Chojnacki, and by David Bell, the multiple champion in this division. He is on pole with Martin Hawke starting alongside him. Methold on the 2nd row alongside the black and green car of Darren Bleasdale. We are underway down towards the first corner. It is David Bell, not surprisingly, who takes the lead into turn 1. A bit of a contretemps behind, and round goes Rob Methold, our Heat 1 winner in a full spin. He will rejoin at the back of the field. But it's Bell who leads the way, a multi-champion in this division over the years since its introduction only a few years ago, the one-make BMW Mini division. Martin Hawks up there in second, ahead of Bleasdale. Then we've got Brad Turner in fourth. Choynashki in the white and blue car is fifth. Then we've got Andy Hawks and Abby McGuinness, the former junior rallycross star, making the move up from her Suzuki Swift here today. Over the rise on the back straight, not really a jump in the BMW Mini category. You see the more powerful 4x4 machines occasionally get some air off there. It is just coming out of the second hairpin, so you don't get much of a run-up at the jump there. Still a few storm clouds hanging around. We have had a few spells of rain here in Lincolnshire today, but it's stayed dry for the most part. David Bell completes the first lap in the lead, then Martin Hawks in second, another man who's moved up from Suzuki Swift Rallycross over the years. There's Abby McGuinness, our junior graduate, racing one of David Bell's fleet of cars today. Her BMW Mini debut, finding it a little different to the Suzuki Swift. Behind her, Rob Methold, who's raced these cars for a few years now, recovering after being taken out on the first corner. So it loops up towards the hairpins. There's Brad Turner, the 61. Raced by Tomasz Choynashki, another of our Polish contingents. Rallycross, a very big sport in Eastern Europe, and a lot of drivers coming across to race in the UK. Drivers from Poland, Lithuania, Latvia. It's in Estonia, rallying the bigger sport with Uit Tanak, the first Estonian to take a world championship in the world of rallying. Swing their way through the final corners of this second lap. David Bell still in the lead. There's Andy Hawks, number 18. All the Hawks family have competed in Rallycross over the years. You've seen Jenny Hawks competing in junior Rallycross in years gone by. There's Tomasz Choynashki, had a heat win earlier on. David Bell won heat 3. He's out in front ahead of Martin Hawks. It's Darren Bleasdale in third. We'll see Jason Bleasdale in action as well in the Super Modifieds later on in his Vauxhall VX220. David Bell in the clear then, son of Tony Bell, who raced Rallycross for many years, including in an ex-World Rally Championship Toyota Corolla. Big accident in that car at Linden Hill a few years ago. It's David who leads the way then up over the rise. Safely in the clear at the moment as they go down the back of the circuit. There is a full tarmac circuit here at Blyton Park as well, used for track days and testing. You see a lot of supercar days done here. Also an autograss oval on the sites. It's karting as well. Here at Blyton Park Driving Centre, all sorts of 2- and 4-wheeled activities take place here. Used to be a short oval for banger racing as well. Contact's being kept to a minimum, thankfully, in the Rallycross today. David Bell in the clear in the KF Mouldings BMW Mini number 93, heading for his latest victory in this category. Great to have them racing alongside the BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship here today. See BMW Minis regularly in the Super Modified class, of course. Leanne Sedgwick, a regular BMW Mini racer. And around the outside there on the hairpin goes Darren Bleasdale. Looks like he's taken second place. Yes, he has. Through in the background, but David Bell still in the clear. The BMW Mini man, of course, is Todd Crooks. His version in the Super Modified class rather more modified than the others, though. Here's the second place train coming through the 3 black cars. Darren Bleasdale ahead of Martin Hawks and Bradley Turner in the number 61. Choynashki just behind them. Up to start their final lap. David Bell all set the victory though. Turner bouncing a little bit wide there as he tries to get into the top 3. Choynashki still 5th. Further back, Rob Methol, Andy Hawks and Abby McGuinness battling towards the tail of the field. Methol, I thought we might see him come through the field on a recovery drive after that spin, but still stuck towards the rear. The distinctive orange and green car, just catch a glimpse of it there in the background, in 6th position now. Bradley Turner having a go at Martin Hawks for 3rd place still. Rob Methol, and problems for Andy Hawks, number 18. He's pulling off. It's like mechanical failure for him, so Andy Hawks out of the race. Bit of smoke there, sadly. The yellow flag out in the background from the marshals. going to be a win for David Bell, though. It's coming through the final turns of this BMW Mini A final. Track fortunately staying dry throughout, and Bell takes his latest win in the category. Second place is going to go to Darren Bleasdale, just ahead of Martin Hawkes. Brad Turner and Thomas Choynashki next home. Rob Methold in his slightly battered car coming in for 6th. And Abby McGuinness on her debut in the category will complete the finishers. Good stuff there from the BMW Mini, supported by Cooper Tyres. The win goes to David Bell by over 6 seconds ahead of Darren Bleasdale, who held off Martin Hawkes by less than half a second to take the runner-up place. Bradley Turner in 4th ahead of Thomas Choynashki. Then a gap back to Rob Methold in 6th place. 7th going to Abby McGuinness. Good debut from her. Andrew Hawkes, unfortunately, a non-finisher.
Well, that was some lead you had there. It looked like an easy win, was it?
Well, it's never an easy win. The car went really well today. It's the first time I've actually driven that car. It's usually our hire car. The team have done some trial suspension adjustments, so I thought, well, I'll come try it, see what it's like before we let anybody else drive it.
Yeah, perfect. And you must be familiar with this track. I know you've done a little bit with this championship and the British as well. It's obviously a good opportunity for you to test the car out. What are your plans for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I've raced EMF for many years, on and off with various different championships. For the rest of the season, we're not sure yet what's happening. Obviously, everything could change at the drop of a hat, so we'll just play it by ear.
Well, we'll hope that we see you again, because you're very entertaining to watch, and the Mini class out there is a fantastic class for everyone to watch as well. There's some good battles, so we'll hope to see you again this year.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Next up we have the AS Performance Super Modified category. 2 heat wins for Tony Lynch in his Ford KA, giving him pole position. On board with Craig Lomax in the Citroën C2. The other heat winner on the front row, Todd Crooks in his BMW Mini, but a super start by Jason Bleasdale, an absolute flyer in the Vauxhall VX220. Newcomer to the Super Modified category. He goes into the lead ahead of Tony Lynch. Lomax in 3rd. Todd Crooks goes down to 4th. Then we've got Leanne Sedgwick in her BMW Mini next up. Peter Wharton in his Peugeot 106. And then the 2 qualifiers from the B final at the back. On board with Tony Lynch, chasing Jason Bleasdale. A rather diagonal look at the action, you could say here. Veteran rallycrosser in the Ford KA, holding off Craig Lomax for that 2nd place. 2 qualifiers from the B final, James Constantine in the Suzuki Swift Sport and Gary Mitchell in his V6 engine Ford Puma. And it's Jason Bleasdale, new to the series in his VX220, who leads the way. Tristan Ovenden, of course, won the opening round at Linden Hill, but not out in his Renault Clio today. These are some of the most powerful cars you will see here at Leighton Park. Spare a thought for the marshals, will have to replace those cones in every single race. They always knock them over on the inside of that last corner. Looking back from Tony Lynch now, it's Craig Lomax in the Citroën C2 behind us. He competes in the Super 1600 Rallycross division in other series. Behind him, Todd Crooks in the BMW Mini. He's had an A final win here at Blighton in the past couple of years ago in slightly worse conditions than this, if memory serves me correctly, as Tony Lynch almost pushing, he's pushing Jason Bleasdale. Gerolf says the Vauxhall VX220 driver, and pulls away into the lead once again. On board with Craig Lomax, chasing Tony Lynch in his Ford KA. Somehow squeezed a 2.3 litre engine into that little pocket rocket, would you believe? Raced Toyota MR2 among other things in the past, Tony Lynch. Todd Crooks in there in 4th place. And a gap back to 5th position, which I think is still Leanne Sedgwick in her slightly less powerful BMW Mini. Todd Crooks' version is turbocharged. Here comes Tony Lynch having a look for the lead down into turn 1. First 4 have broken away, very much so. Tony Lynch had a good battle with Todd Crooks at Linden Hill. That's the Clio of Tristan Ovenden, the Lotus Exige of Guy Corner, who were on top on that occasion, and still Jason Bleasdale working hard here to hold off Tony Lynch. Lomax likewise with Todd Crooks. Sedgwick is still there in 5th position. Then we've got Peter Wharton's Peugeot. Gary Mitchell has got ahead of James Constantine in the Suzuki Swift. The other cars here today that didn't make it to the A final are the experienced Phil Chicken with his Suzuki Swift, Gary Cook in his Ford Fiesta, the former champion, and also Fred Ling, who would have been a contender for honours today. His Ford Fiesta ST unfortunately broke down in the heats, wasn't able to contest the finals. Great shame for Fred, the young relative newcomer. Very quick driver indeed. Here's Gary Mitchell, also does a bit of circuit racing these days. He's done the Ford Focus Cup, also a bit of sports car racing. These two out in front though by a clear margin. Bleasdale ahead of Tony Lynch. Third, Craig Lomax ahead of Todd Crooks. They're splitting into pairs as we saw earlier on. Again, Tony Lynch gives Jason Bleasdale a shove through the hairpin. But that VX220 has the straight line speed. We saw that coming off the line. He just shot away from everybody else. It does resemble the Lotus Exige very slightly, the Vauxhall VX220 that we've seen have success in the hands of several drivers, likes of the Bellaby family. Had successes in Lotus here, Ash Simpson as well. Not seen the VX220 in Rallycross so often. Tony Lynch not letting it get away here as they go into the final lap. Can he get the 4K through? He hits him again. Morse code on the back of Jason Bleasdale's car almost here. Trying to get up the outside into turn one, but Bleasdale's got the line. Easy to go side by side through this section. Cutting back again, Tony Lynch is up alongside him again. Great race between these two. And still Bleasdale has got his nose in front as they come up towards the hairpin. What's Lynch going to try this time? Going to try the cutback manoeuvre to the inside. Can he get alongside him? No, not quite. We ride with him. Still Jason Bleasdale leads the way. So saw Darren Bleasdale, of course, representing the family in the BMW Minis as well. Checkered flag this time. Can Jason Bleasdale hang on ahead of the determined Tony Lynch in the Lucas Oil Ford K8? Oh, this is going to be close. Here they come towards the final corner. Tony Lynch will try a last bend lunge down the inside. He's not going to do it, and Jason Bleasdale takes the win. That was close. It'll be interesting to see the winning margin there. Craig Lomax is going to take third ahead of Todd Crooks. And then the next group coming in, Leanne Sedgwick is going to be fifth. Peter Wharton in his Peugeot 106, his next good result for him in sixth place ahead of Gary Mitchell, and finally James Constantine. Close race there, certainly the AS Performance Super Modified A final. It is a win for Jason Bleasdale, just 0.3 of a second ahead of Tony Lynch. Craig Lomax holding off Todd Crooks by a similar margin for third place. Then Leanne Sedgwick in fifth in her BMW Mini, Peter Wharton, Gary Mitchell and James Constantine rounding out the 8 runners.
Jason, it's great to see a new face being interviewed by me for once. It's quite a tight-knit championship this. You've slid in there and you've managed to win the A final and sweep it from under everyone's feet. I mean, that was a pretty spectacular race to watch. How was it for you?
It was quite an adrenaline rush really. Tony just pushed me all the way. I mean, the pressure I had just all the way around. He was nudging into the hairpin and then came around the outside of us in turn 1 and 2, and I thought, oh, he's got me here, but I just kept it going, kept on the brakes, and I mean that Ford K is quick, and to get ahead of that I was pretty happy with that. I mean, he's been the quickest all day, and to come out ahead of him, I'm over the moon.
Absolutely. I mean, Tony has some serious pace and he knows his car as well, very, very well, which gives him a bit of an edge. You've not been in that car very long, have you?
No, this is actually my second only event, so it's the second time in the car. I've had one over test day before that, so like two times in the car, so it's a bit of a handful. It's definitely a massive learning curve. I'm constantly learning with the car. I mean, I've probably been second slowest at the beginning of today, and then just each race I'm just getting quicker and quicker and quicker.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're definitely on the pace, and like I say, to get ahead of Tony as well, who has got some serious pace within this championship. Excellent, well done. What are your plans for the rest of whatever this season might bring?
Well, that's it really. It's just see what the season can bring and where we are allowed to go and what we can do. I mean, I'm more than willing to be getting myself in the car and much experience as I can, so I'll commit to anything really just to get myself in that car.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to seeing you out in it again. Well done, that was fantastic.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, certainly one of the most entertaining meetings we have seen here at the Blyton Park Driving Centre over the years for the Autosport International BTRDA Clubman's Rallycross Championship. Certainly a series for cars of all ages, sizes and levels of performance in this championship. A great way to start out in motorsport as well. We're now going to move on to look at the SG Haulage production category, the class with the biggest entry of cars here today. We join them in the B final. Dale Riches leading the way in his Citroën C2 by a very handsome margin indeed. He's heading for victory and a place on the back of the A final grid. Of course, the top two finishers go through. Here's Cameron Whitley in second in his Ford Focus, under fire from Rob Hindley. He qualified by winning the C final. Up the inside here into the final corner. He goes through, but looks like he cut the corner there, certainly on the inside. Now, he could get a penalty for that, Rob Hindley. But he looks like he may go from C to A final. Behind them, Mark Henry in the little Alfa Romeo there. Winner's gone to Dale Riches. Hindley across the line in second, ahead of Whitley, then Mark Henry. Next home, Neil Hobden in John Rook's Peugeot 106. Confirm the result of that one then. Riches the winner by a clear margin ahead of Rob Hindley. Cameron Whitley in third place provisionally, ahead of Mark Henry, then Hobden. Peter Wharton Jr. in his Citroën C2. Hamish Gilfillan was a non-finisher in his Corsa, and Tony Crisp in his Ford KA didn't take the start. And now getting ready for the A final for the SG Haulage production category. 2 heat wins for Dale Ford, the reigning class champion. The other won by Maciek Florszak, who unfortunately is a non-starter in this race after problems in the heats earlier on. So it's Dale Ford in pole position, Harry Volkard in his Saxo alongside him. We're on board with Joe Meskauskas, the Lithuanian-born driver, in his Citroën C2 as we get underway. Dale Ford, the category favourite, the winner at Linden Hill in round one. He leads the way in the first corner. Louis Kershaw running wide there in the Otto Lube-sponsored MG-ZR. He goes out very wide, loses a couple of places. Out in front it is Dale Ford from Joe Meskauskas. Had problems in the heats at Linden Hill. Needs a good score here. Also up there, Johnny Crisp in the Ford KA. Crisp family, great battlers in their 2 KAs. We saw Tony Crisp out earlier on as well. He went out in the earlier finals. Joe Meskauskas battling with him there, and Crisp dives through up the inside. An aggressive move from the less powerful little Ford. Up into second place now, ahead of Meskauskas. Fourth is Harry Volkard, the ex-touring car racer, in his Saxo. Then next in the order looks like we have got Dale Riches. He came through after winning the B final. The other qualifier from the B final, Cameron Whitley in his Ford Focus, who's a little further back there behind Carl Jarvis in the Saxo with the yellow wheels. In fact, Carl Jarvis Cameron Whitley promoted up from third in the B final because Rob Hindley, who finished second, was unable to start this race. There's Louis Kershaw in the ZR, giving chase to the Citroën Hordes. We're on board with Joe Meskauskas, the garage owner based in Northamptonshire. He's tangled with Harry Volkard. Off goes the silver Saxo. There's a fair bit of needle creeping into this race. The Steel Seal sponsored car of Volkard, who's raced everything from touring cars to stocks cars over the years, rejoins at the back. Louis Kershaw battles his way past Dale Riches in the C2, gives him a punt in assistance through the hairpin. Goodness me, this is more like stock car racing than rallycross. Great stuff. Louis Kershaw now into the side of Riches. What is going on out here? Also, Carl Jarvis gets involved and up and onto 2 wheels. I thought he was going over there. Dale Riches, my goodness me. Never mind stock car racing, this is going to turn into banger racing, and the Focus has gone in there as well. Cameron Whitley has smashed into the back of somebody. To the state of that, he's going to be out of the race surely. I think the steering's broken on Cameron Whitley's Focus. The Ford KA of Johnny Crisp going off there at the final corner. We're still only halfway through this race. Dale Ford's missing all the fun, he's out in front. It's Crisp in second, Meskauskas third, then it's Riches, Kershaw, Jarvis, Volkard, and we've lost Cameron Whitley, I think, at the back with that damage. Or perhaps Rob Hindley, who not only came through the B final, won the C final as well earlier on. Perhaps pleased he's sitting out this race, he's saving a bit on damage. The other drivers we've got here today, just to run you through them, Maciek Florszak, of course won a heat earlier on but then had problems. I mentioned Rob Hindley in the Clio, Mark Henry with his Alfa Romeo, Neil Hobden, Peter Wharton Jr, Hamish Gilfillan, Tony Crisp, also Steph Wadge, Alan Laidler and Peter Hamlet, the full roster of drivers we had here today. Such a big entry here in the production category. Over the jump they come, Carl Jarvis chased by the recovering Harry Volkard. Dale Riches at the front of this group in the C2, the B final winner, chased by Louis Kershaw and the Otto Lube Oils sponsored MGZR. The leaders have been able to pull away as a result of all that mayhem on the first couple of laps. Now into lap 4, Dale Ford clear of Johnny Crisp, the Ford KA on for its best ever overall result in second place. And Joe Meskauskas behind him. We watch the battle for fourth place headed by Dale Riches, but here comes Louis Kershaw up the inside. He goes through into turn 1. Carl Jarvis snaking about behind them. There's a bit of rain coming down here at Blyton, unfortunately. Well, it wouldn't be Rallycross without a bit of rain, would it? Part of the fun's getting soaking wet and covered in mud in this form of motorsport. We love it. These drivers certainly loving it as well. Rain not making things too muddy, which is quite fortunate. Don't want to have to jet wash the car before going home if you don't have to. It's looking good for a victory for Dale Ford. This will put him into contention for the overall championship. Of course, Dale came so close last year, only a broken throttle cable in the last A final of the year at Knockhill denying him his chances. He won't want a repeat of that at Knockhill this year. Harry Volkard chasing Carl Jarvis. There's Ford. There's Johnny Crisp up there in second. What a great run by the little Ford KA. Running in a different subclass to the other runners, or smaller engined 8-valve cars. Tony Crisp went out earlier on, unfortunately, in the B final. Harry Volkard has now passed Carl Jarvis as we go into the final lap, further back in the order, chasing Dale Riches. Louis Kershaw ahead of this battle in the ZR. It's going to be a win for Dale Ford. I think towards the end of the lap, the track is starting to get a little slick now from the rain that's coming down. It's turned into a bit of a demolition derby further back. We have only lost one car though. We certainly haven't lost the Steve Gaunt Trailers car of Dale Ford. He comes in for his second Production A final win of the season. Well done, Dale Ford. Great drive by Johnny Crisp for second place. It will be Joe Meskauskas in third, making up for problems at Linden Hill, and Louis Kershaw up there in fourth place. I think this will be his best ever results overall if he can hold on in fourth place in the ZR ahead of Dale Riches around the final corner. He's going to. Well done, Louis Kershaw. Fourth place ahead of Riches, fifth. Volkard sixth, I think. And then it will be Carl Jarvis, the final finisher, because we lost Cameron Whitley in the Ford Focus with damage. What a chaotic race that was. Won by Dale Ford by 2.5 seconds ahead of Johnny Crisp. What a great effort by the little Ford KA. Joe Meskauskas third ahead of Louis Kershaw, then Dale Riches, Volkard, Jarvis and Cameron Whitley. Unfortunately we lost following that little contretemps in the early stages.
Dale, this is becoming a regular occurrence, not that we're complaining of course. Excellent drive once again. You must have been feeling quite a lot of pressure because the whole pack was behind you.
Yeah, I did feel a lot of pressure in that race, yeah. Especially with the weather changing. Every lap it seemed to be getting wetter and wetter and slippery. It was a hard race, yeah.
That must have been definitely a challenge. I was going to mention the weather there because you started off with a perfectly dry race and about 3 laps in, the heavens opened. So yeah, it was just getting worse and worse for you. But you pulled it off once again. Yeah. Have you got plans to come up to Knockhill with us as well? Yeah. Obviously, should that go ahead?
Yeah, we'll be there, yeah, definitely.
You're defending your title again?
I'm trying, yeah, I'm trying.
Excellent, that's what we like to see. Blyton, how do you find it as a track? Because it's really interesting from a spectator point of view with the difference in surfaces. How is it from a driver's point of view?
I get on well here. It's our local track, and I do like it here, yeah. I always seem to do fairly well here. So I come here with a bit more confidence than I maybe do the other tracks, because I do get on well.
Excellent. Well, you must be right, because it's worked, hasn't it, again for you. So well done, and we'll see you hopefully at round 3.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Let's take a look at the point standings with a round to go at Knockhill then. And it's going to be an interesting conclusion with 6 drivers all on 40 points. Dale Ford, Tom Ovenden, John Cross, Guy Corner, Tony Lynch and Mark Jones all level on 40 points. That concludes the action from here at Blyton Park. A brilliant day's rallycross, to say the least. Join us for more rallycross soon in round 3 from Knockhill in Scotland. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye.